Hey, welcome back to Code with Beto. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can debug your push notifications with React Native. This technically also applies to native iOS and Android development. So if you are not using React Native, this video is going to help you as well. Before we dive in, I want to tell you a little story. When I was working at Expo, one of the most popular requests I used to get was why my push notifications are not arriving to the user's device. And this is one of the toughest issues that you can face as a developer because push notifications rely on many moving parts. So we really need to understand how everything works before we can actually start debugging or trying to figure out what's wrong. And also understanding how everything works will give you a better sense of where to look. So if that sounds fun, let's dive in. If you want to become a master in React Native, check out my React Native course at codewithbeto.dev. I recently added a full section for native modules in case you want to really dive deeper into native integrations in your app, or this is actually relevant to this video if you want to learn how to add rich notifications for your application. This is actually a free lesson that you can check out today completely for free. I'll teach you how to create an extension for iOS so that you can send images in your push notifications. Apart from my top tier courses, we also offer premium resources that include templates and production ready code bases that you can use as example to ship your own. Now that you know that, let's dive in. First of all, in your application, either Android or iOS, you're going to request permissions to the user to send push notifications. So this is a crucial point. If they decide to not allow push notifications, then you are done. You cannot do anything else. But let's explore the happy path, right? They accept to receive push notifications. When that happens, if you are using Expo notifications in your React Native application, you're gonna get a token. If you are developing your application natively, for iOS only or Android only, still you will get a token or a string of characters that will look something like this, just random long string. So once you get this token, we usually save this token into a database. And then we use that token to send notifications to the user. The first thing to understand here is that tokens can change. So once you get the token from the user and save it in your database, you technically are not done. You still need to be careful and update the token when it has changed. Since the tokens can change, we need to update the token constantly. And in this case, what I recommend is that when the user opens the application, get the token directly, not from the local storage, just get the token using Expo notifications or any other library that you're using. And once you get the token, check the token with the one that you have saved in the database. If the token is different, then update the database, replace the old one. And if it's the same one, just do nothing, right? All right, so let's say that you have the token and you are using Expo notifications. Then in your server, you can trigger a notification. When you trigger a push notification from your server, you technically are not sending it directly to the user, right? We use a service depending on the platform. If you are sending a push notification to an iOS user, you will have to go through the Apple notification service, or if you are sending the notification to an Android user, you will have to go through Firebase Cloud Messaging service from Google. But if you're using Expo notifications, you will get a different token that will work for both platforms. We're going to send a push notification that sets React Native course 40% off. By the way, this is real. You can use promo code LOVE2026 to get 40% off in my course. So make sure to check it out and take advantage of this before it goes out. And what happens here, it's something that most people and most React Native developers don't know. Expo, first of all, is going to get the Expo token that you are sending with the payload and information. Based on the token, it could send it to iOS or Android. Expo is actually going to return a response OK when they receive the notification. And this status OK, along with the receipt ID from the notification, means that the message was received by Expo's servers, not that it was received by the user. Okay, keep that in mind. The notification is not delivered yet. So after Expo gets the notification, they are going to add it to a queue. But in some cases, it could be that your notification needs to wait a little bit before they can send it to Apple or Firebase Cloud Messaging. So let's say that everything goes well. The notification was for an iOS device, so they send it to Apple, and then Apple will send the notification to the user. So Apple is going to return that response to Expo. If you want to know that the notification was actually delivered, you can use the receipt ID that Expo gave you once you requested the notification. And if you get a response from the receipts, from the push receipt, it means that the notification was delivered. If you don't get anything, it means that something's wrong. So the best way to troubleshoot push notifications when something is wrong is through each level. First of all, you can check directly with Expo, or if everything is okay with Expo, you can check actually directly with Apple or Google. And to test my push notifications, I use this tool called Quick Push. With Quick Push, you can send notifications through Expo, or by the way, we also have support for live activities directly to Apple or directly to Firebase Cloud Messaging. So let me show you a quick example. I have here my application, and let's send a push notification. This is my personal iPhone 17 Pro. You can save tokens. This is actually very useful when you are debugging. Once you get the token, it's a good idea to save it. Although it can change, it's not going to change every time, right? It's going to change just if you uninstall the application. So it's a good idea to save it to save time. So to this, we can just send a notification here. Quick Push also supports images, so you can paste the link here and just press Command Enter. This will send a notification. And after a moment, using Expo, we get a notification with the image. By the way, this application has the iOS extension that I was talking about here from my free lesson, so you can check it out and learn how I implemented it. Now, we got a notification, everything went well, but the way you could debug this if something was wrong is by looking at the response. So Quick Push also gives you the response. You can see the raw JSON. And like I said before, when we deliver the notification to Expo, Expo is going to return a receipt ID. And this is the receipt ID, this one right here. So this means that the notification was queued by Expo, but not delivered, right? So to check if the notification was actually delivered, you can use the receipt. We have a button for this, and it's already detecting the push notification with the ticket ID. So with the ticket ID, we can just check for the receipt, and this will let me know that the notification was in fact delivered. And at this point, of course, I can also see the notification. I know that everything went well. And if you want, you can also get the raw JSON. I'm going to leave the link to Quick Push down here. It's available in the App Store or Mac. But if you want, you can also use the curl to check directly in your terminal. Copy the curl from here. And the endpoint that we're hitting is this one, push send. Then you pass these attributes that you can see here. By the way, this is fully automated. You don't need to do anything when you're using Quick Push, but you know, it's good to know that you can also do it yourself if you really want to, but this is a manual process, and then you'll get the status okay. All right, now let me show you how that would look like on Android. Clear my notifications, and I also have my Pixel 8 here, and I'm actually using Expo Notifications application, which is an open source app that I'm going to leave in the description. It's also available in my lesson. You can check the code, and this application is great for debugging and learning more about push notifications with Expo and overall native notifications, because you can also get the native token for iOS and native for Android. And this is a native one, the one that you can see here, and the one above is the Expo one. So anyways, I'm going to swipe down and select my Pixel 8. Just Pixel 8 for now. Let's send the same push notification. And fun fact is that Android supports images out of the box, so we don't need to write any extension. Or same thing when we're dealing with Expo, we can just check the receipt, everything was delivered correctly, or you can also check the response. Now, everything is fine here, right? Because, you know, I recently just added these tokens, but let me actually copy this token and paste it in here, and let's change one letter. Let's change this for an X. Let's say that the token has changed, or maybe we didn't save the token correctly. Let's try to send a push notification, and we're going to get a bad response. If we take a look at the response, this is going to tell us that this token is not registered for any recipient, or it's associated with a project that does not exist. So this basically told me everything, and this is correct because this token, of course, does not exist. Now, let's say that we get a success message from Expo, but the notification still didn't arrive. So at that point, I would recommend that you go directly to the native platform. Let's start with iOS. So this is the code of my Expo notifications app. We registered the device for notifications, but in case you didn't know, Expo notifications, which is coming here, Expo notifications also comes with a method called getDevicePushTokenAsync. And this method is going to return the native Firebase Cloud Messaging or native Apple Notification Service token from the device. What I'm doing here is just getting it and displaying it. And if we take a look at the screen, you can see it here, right? So let's bring back Quick Push. And in that case, what you can do is, first of all, set your credentials here directly. The most important part here is that, of course, you need a team ID, bundle ID, and your P8 key. If you're using Expo notifications like me, you can go to the dashboard on EAS, and then on the left, click on credentials, select iOS, and then you'll find your push key. This is the push key that I'm using to connect with Quick Push. This key allows you to communicate directly with Apple. And when you set up push notifications with Expo, they are going to create this key for you. This is one time only thing. You don't need to recreate this every time. You can just come here, download it, and use it with Quick Push. So if you notice, my token, native token for iOS ends with 022, and it's the one of my iPhone 17 Pro. And same thing, we can just pass a title, native push. You can also pass a body, let's say test, and you can even also pass an image and custom data, by the way, like for example, key and value. So let's press Command Enter. This will send the push notification. And as you can see there, we got it directly. And here it is. This is a native push notification. We didn't have to go through Expo in that case. So if you were sending the notification using Expo and the user wasn't getting it, you can try sending it directly through Apple and check the response. So in this case, it's successful. We get everything, it's correct here. So let's say that I made a mistake and I didn't configure my application correctly. I had a typo in my bundle ID, so I'm going to remove a letter. Let's try to resend this again, and it's going to fail directly. But I'm gonna get a higher quality error here. Let's check the response, and I can see here that it says push notifications are not allowed for this topic. Check your provisional profile and entitlements. So all that to say is that something is wrong with my configuration. I was missing AP. And just as we can do that with iOS, we can also do it with Firebase Cloud Messaging. So to configure this, it's actually pretty easy. It's easier than iOS. You only need to have a service account. And the service account, you can get it from Google, from your Firebase project. So I'm gonna go to Firebase, select my project, Expo notifications, and we can just go to the overview, select it here, and then go to service accounts. And what you need to do here is just press this blue button that says generate new private key. This is going to download a JSON file. That's all you need. Once you have the JSON file, it's gonna look something like this. Make sure to don't share this with anyone. I added it here, but I'm actually ignoring it. You don't want to commit this. It contains sensitive information. So be careful with this file. I rename it, by the way, to service account. It had a different name. But once you select that with Quick Push, it's going to prefill the project ID and the client email. That's all you need. Once you set this configuration, you don't need to set it again. So from here, we can actually send the notification natively. And you can actually do this from your server if you really want to. So let's say, hello, native Android, I'm passing an image. Let's send it to my Pixel 8, and that's it. So in the case that, again, the notification wasn't being delivered correctly, maybe you had an issue with your credentials, or maybe the token was wrong. But yeah, you can see the response here. Copy the curl. Maybe you want to do something specific in your backend, do it directly, or a specific notification, you can do it. All right, and finally, I want to show you an example using a live activity, because at the end of the day, this communication needs to be through your server, but it's actually very awkward to try to change your server every time that you want to test sending a notification. but it's even more painful if you're working with live activities. So I was using Expo Live Activities, which is a new package from Software Mention to test live activities. And I just started one right there. We can actually update the live activity because live activities return a token. So this is my project for live activities, and I can copy the token that is generated when you start a live activity. Paste it in here. The live activity has started. So what we can do here is update it, right? And usually live activities start with oh, the bundle ID, it's wrong. I'm gonna need to fix it. By the way, cool thing is that you can use the same P8 to check, to update live activities and test it. This will allow you to move super fast. So once you have your configuration, you can minimize it and then update the live activity. So let's say subscribe, please, and then command enter. Ooh, and we have an error. So let's check it out. Token is invalid. Okay, maybe I did something wrong. I copied the wrong one because I started a new one. Should be this one. Let's paste it in here. Let me actually minimize this and let's test this again. All right, and you can see how the live activity changes directly. So I didn't have to go to my server. I didn't have to do anything crazy. And you can also pass an image name here, but this is actually, I'm not sure how this actually works. I'm just gonna set something, and it's going to reserve this space on the right. And we have nice transitions. You can always pass a different title from your server. Let's say that you are doing a sale and it's going to last an hour. So you can update the title to be sale is about to end. And you can even do things like 10 and then 9, depending on the minutes. And the live activity is going to update. You can use the same credentials. It's just a matter of changing the bundle identifier, or maybe you're using the same application. The biggest takeaway is that working with push notifications, especially remote push notifications and live activities, is always tricky. So first, check your credentials, check your bundle identifier, team ID, check that the push token is valid, check the receipt with Expo. If your notification is not working with Expo, then go ahead and try it directly with Apple or Google. And if you still get an error, it's very likely that you are missing something in your configuration. Maybe your certificate expired, maybe you need to create a new key, maybe your bundle ID is wrong, maybe your team ID is wrong. Once you know that everything is correct, you will get a better error from Apple and Google when you are communicating directly with them. And for live activities, no need to change your server just to test how the live activity would look like on the phone. You can just use Quick Push to do that. If this video was helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'm gonna leave the link to Quick Push in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.